your body will go and go and go and go. If you've watered it and fed it, your body will keep going. And it's your mind and those voices in your head that make you want to quit.
Hi there, I'm Vicky. I'm 1/3 of the Girls Who Dare. I am so honoured to answer your questions. We received these in a few days ago, and honestly we think it's absolutely brilliant that you've engaged in our endeavour and you're excited for us about what we're about to do. So thank you for all your questions. They're brilliant, really intelligent. Some of them we've been asked before and others we haven't. So I'm going to dive straight in. So I've got one from Abby, Samantha and Anna, who asked us, how are we going to deal with exhaustion and sleep deprivation? So that is something that people have asked us before. Do we train for sleep deprivation? The answer to that is no, not really. It would be kind of silly to deprive ourselves of sleep before we're about to be pretty sleep exhausted for 60 days. So actually we're doing the opposite. We're trying to bank as much sleep as possible in the run up to the race and be as well rested as we possibly can be. We are also trying to make sure that our sleeping arrangements are as comfortable as they can be, and we've got soft pillows, and that the cabins that we'll be sleeping in are relatively well ventilated, so all of that will help. But we are going to get sleep deprived, no doubt. What nutrients are we fueling our bodies with, and what food are we eating? Well, I mean, we are on a pretty strict training regime that's pretty full on. So, you know, we are consuming quite a decent amount of food. It's not always kind of the good stuff. Sometimes a few bits of chocolate and a couple of glasses of wine might sneak in there. But on the whole, we have to be really well fueled for all the training that we're undertaking. So loads of protein, just a really wide varied diet, lots of veggies. And we're here in Antigua at the moment. Jane and I are trying to get some good fresh fish in as well. Is the water from the ocean or any other sources? Oh, so yeah, the water that we have to take is, well, we don't take it. It does come from the ocean. So we have a water desalinator that purifies the water for us so that we're able to drink it. So obviously we're always hoping that that's going to work for us. If it doesn't, we kind of know how to fix it. Otherwise we have a hand water pump as well, which we can use in case of an emergency. But we do also have quite a lot of water ballast in the boat, so we use that for stability as much as anything, but it is fresh water. So if we are in an emergency situation, we have to access water, let's say whilst we're waiting for a safety boat to come and rescue us in hopefully a situation that we don't encounter, but we do have to kind of prepare for that. So yeah, we are able to access water if we need it, but if we open the water, and they will be in sealed bottles, if we open the water, then we will be penalised for using that water. So we're going to try not to have to do that. So thanks Abby, Samantha and Anna. They were wicked questions. I'm going to move on now to Brooke, Mia and Alex, who have asked, how much does the boat weigh? It weighs a ton, which sounds pretty heavy, but thank goodness we don't have to lift it. We only have to row it through water. How big is the boat? It's 24 foot, which is pretty small. So yeah, maybe you can like work that out, measure that out in terms of lengths of bodies. You could line yourselves up and see how many people you could get into a 24 foot space. Probably not very many. How do you sleep in a short amount of time? Well, there's a thing, and yeah, we are trying to practice napping, snatching bits of sleep whenever we can. So yeah, that's a bit of a skill. Orla and I have, I think, got that nailed, but Jane needs a bit of work on that one.
What motivated me to do this was the potential impact that it could have for other females that are thinking about stepping outside their comfort zone, for other people in sport who just want to try something new, and just sort of to encourage that say yes attitude and see what happens. Where do we go to the toilet? Well, we are in the biggest toilet on the world, which is the ocean, but we won't be jumping in there every time we need to go. I believe it's as high tech as a bucket and a expandable wet wipe.
First question that I at the top of the list was from I think it was Myri. Myri and Rachel, and they asked how do you stay motivated when you feel like giving up. I guess like with all the physical challenges and stuff I've done throughout my life, what motivates me is not quitting. I don't think I can think of a time where I've quit something physical, and the harder the challenge is, the worse state I'm in, the more I want to quit, the more I just won't. So my advice to you for that one is like, all it is mind. Like, your body will go and go and go and go. If you've watered it and fed it, your body will keep going, and it's your mind and those voices in your head that make you want to quit. So if you can control those voices and overcome them by sending in positive thoughts and your reason why you're doing things, that'll keep you going, and then that'll give you motivation to keep pushing.
Next question, what is our plan if the weather goes wrong? Well, it's obviously not something that we are in any way in control of, but we do get weather reports regularly. We have a dedicated weather router, a lovely guy called Simon who lives in Cornwall, and he's going to be sending us daily updates and advice on how we kind of deal with weather systems that will be coming in. We've done a little bit of investigation, and we know that there aren't any serious hurricanes that are likely to come across our path, but we may well have to deal with some difficult conditions, and in that case what we do is we deploy a parachute anchor, which can hold up to a ton of water, and so that will hopefully hold us in position. So if in a terrible weather situation we're completely unable to row, we just dive into our cabins, we kind of batten down the hatches, we make sure that everything's stowed away properly, and then we just sit and wait until the weather passes. But that parachute anchor will hold us in position pretty well, so that we don't lose any of the mileage that we've gained. So yeah, that's what we do. Thank goodness we have that facility, and that will kind of keep us fairly stable. Actually, what's interesting though to know is that an ocean rowing boat is probably one of the safest things that you could be in bad weather conditions. So it's like a little tight capsule, and it will just kind of bob around like a cork. So yeah, might be fairly unpleasant for us for a while in our cabins, but yeah, hopefully no damage and no major dramas. And what will we do if one of us gets an injury? Well, I guess it depends kind of what the nature of the injury is, and like I said, we've got medical support by telephone. We also have a pretty extensive medical kit list, so we're taking everything from tablet medication for various different conditions, right through to splints and things like that, lots of tape. So hopefully we've accounted for everything, and all we'll need is a bit of paracetamol maybe for a few aches and pains, but yeah, you never know. So that's what some of our first aid training has been for, and yeah, we hope to, I guess, preempt any kind of issue like that by just making sure that our bodies are well recovered, that we're looking after ourselves, that we're fueled, we're hydrated well enough, that those types of things don't happen as our bodies start to deteriorate a little bit. So thank you, Claire and Bridget, for your questions. Now I've got a question from Alison and Chloe and Lynn and Simone, and they have asked, what gets me out of bed in the morning and what are my whys? Wow, well, so I'm 43, taking on this race. Paula is 27, Jane is 37, so we're quite well spread out in age. I'm just super thankful that, I'm physically capable of doing something like this. I train really hard every day, and I'm grateful really that my body performs well. So that's a lot of that is kind of just down to commitment, dedication and consistency. But yeah, I hope to be able to move my body and push my physical limits for as long as I possibly can. But I'm also massively motivated to do this because of the charities that we're supporting with our endeavour. We want to inspire people, especially young girls, to do more with their lives, to take all sorts of opportunities that come their way, and to never ever ever think that just because they are female that certain opportunities are not available to them. It's so important that you know you can do absolutely anything if you set your mind to it. And none of us are experienced in rowing, in ocean rowing, in anything related to it. We're all complete novices to this, and we've started the whole process from scratch. We've raised all the finance for it, and we've kind of, at times, we've made it up as we go along, and we've researched and we've sought out all the supports and the training that we've needed to have in place. So if you want something badly enough, you will find a way of making it happen, and I want to kind of go out there, do this to prove to people that that is possible. How will I deal with having no personal space? God, yeah, I think that's going to be a really hard one. I don't ever recall a time in my life when I've spent this amount of time with, 2 other people in such close confinement. Not even my family, so yeah, it's going to be tough. You can't just kind of walk out into another room when you've had enough. So yeah, it's going to be hard, but I think we've got headphones as and when we might need to use them. We may resort to that for a bit of peace and quiet, and I think having that 1 hour of rowing on our own every shift will really help to kind of redress that balance, or at least I hope so.
Hey Karis, thank you for your question. How much food do we take with us? So we have to take 4,000 calories per person for 68 days. So I think that runs into somewhere in the region of 220,000 calories that we need to have on board. What happens if we run out? That's a good question. I think we'll have to lucky dip who gets the last meal pack, but hopefully that won't happen. But if in any case, if it does, I guess we'd probably just assess how far we are away from shore, if it's safe to continue to do so without any food, and then make a decision from there. Hey Dylan, yes, we do have solar panels on the boat that will provide us with electricity to run things like our jet boiler, our chargers for our devices, our GPS systems, things like that, anything that we're using. It'll also help us with our communications in terms of receiving emails from our weather router and things like that. So as long as we don't hit any electrical malfunctions, we should be all good with our solar panels.
The next question is, how do you filter your water? So I think I just answered that. So we have a water desalinator. So the water goes through a pump and through a filter, strips out the salts, makes it suitable for drinking. We have to run that pump every single day, make sure that we've got a good amount of reserve water. We'll use that for washing as much as we'll use it for drinking, so we need to make sure that we always have that in good supply. So that's one thing that we have to prioritise solar panels for, and make sure that we've got enough electricity to run it. What happens if you need medical attention? Well, we're really hoping that won't happen. But there is a safety boat that will accompany the race, and I kind of use that term quite loosely. So it may take a couple of days for the safety boat to get to us if we were to need it, but we do have satellite phones that we can use to communicate with the race organisers and with medical staff if we need that. But we've also all had to complete a first aid at sea course, so we know kind of the basics in terms of taping each other up and making sure that we're doing our best to avoid any major medical emergencies. So Brooke, Mia and Alex, thank you so much for your questions. Claire and Bridget, what type of rotation will we use to make sure everyone has the same break? So we'll be rowing 3 hours on, 3 hours off, and the way the rotation will work is that I will row for 1 hour with Jane, I will row 1 hour with Orla, and then I will row 1 hour on my own. So we're constantly kind of changing up who we're rowing with, mixing that up, making sure that we get each other's company all the time, and not just kind of rowing with one other person. So yeah, we do get that 1 hour on our own, which may well be in the middle of the night. So I'm not sure whether that's something to look forward to in terms of having a bit of peace and quiet and space and freedom to think on your own. Obviously we're in close confinement all the time, or whether you know, that's going to be a scary prospect, being out on the boat on your own, potentially at night for an hour. We'll see, we will find out.
Okay, question 2 was, how will I communicate with the people back home? And we have a communications package, and in the communications package there's a thing called a BGAN, and you line it up with a satellite and it'll get signal and you will be able to use Wi-Fi. So we will send messages and emails back home that way. But on a personal note, I think having that time to just turn off my phone and not be committed to having to think about messaging or emails or anything like that is going to be a bliss. So I'm not going to contact home too often. Bella and Jody, do you take any supplements to sleep? No, I don't struggle to sleep. I'm quite good. Once I'm tired and my head hits a pillow, that's it. I'm like gone. It doesn't take me long. And I think like the motion of the boat and having like the 3 hours on, 3 hours off routine, which I'll go on to in a little bit, I'll be fast asleep. I don't think Vicky and Ola will take any supplements either. I think we'll all sleep quite well. Actually, Vicky and Ola are serial nappers. I have never known two people to nap as much as them two, so I don't think they'll struggle with sleeping. Next question is, what happens if there is a sea storm? So that depends on the rate of the wind and the state of the storm. We have a weather router who's going to be like looking at the winds, and he'll send an email to us like every 2-3 days, so we'll be able to check in on the weather. So we'll have a good guide to predict if there's any hurricanes coming or anything choppy. And if that does happen, it's okay. There's two cabins at the end of each both sides. There's 2 cabins both sides of the boat. So if it gets really bad, we go in the cabins. First, we deploy the para anchor. So it's like a massive parachute on a huge bit of rope, and you just lower it down in the water, and then it opens up like a parachute, and it'll keep you in position. It might take you back a few miles, but at least it's not gonna wash you around or take you back too far. And then we'll just have a little sleep in the cabins until the storm passes, and then bring in the para anchor, and then carry on rowing. The next one was, how many clothes am I bringing? So as always, I like to challenge myself. So before I left, I thought, I'm not going to take that much, so I'll just take my rucksack and try and, I think I packed 2 Hawaiian shirts and about 4 t-shirts and probably like 4 pairs of shorts. We're literally on day 7, week 1 of about 12 weeks from away, and I'm desperately regretting my decisions. Vicky's bought like 2 suitcases. But it'll be alright. I think once we get on the boat, you literally stay in. The first month it will be in waterproofs, and the second month it'll be a little bit hotter as we're getting to Hawaii, so it'll be like t-shirts. But I've said I'm going to wear my Hawaiian shirt every Saturday, just to break up the week and wear something a little bit loud. Next one, sorry. I keep losing my position. Great. How many clothes am I bringing? And the next one, am I experienced on the open seas? No, I'm not experienced on the open seas. I've only ever been in a sailboat once, and that was for like 2 days for our competent crew that we had to do before you can go and be involved in this, the Great Pacific Race. So I have no idea what I'm going to be like out at sea, if I'm going to get seasick. It's all brand new to me. I've never rowed before. The only rowing I've ever done is on a Concept 2 rowing machine in the gym. and to be honest, I don't really enjoy it, but I have to get over that next week. How long have I rowed for? I haven't. I got involved in Girls Who Dare, this project, in October last year. So the last like 8 months I've been kind of strapped to that rowing machine. Not really enjoying it. I like swimming, running and biking. Rowing not so much. But I don't know, never mind. I might find a new love for this. Next question, how do we organise rotations? 3 hours and 3 hours. How do we organise rotations? Yeah, so what we're going to do is 3 hours on, 3 hours off. So, for example, my first hour I'll be with Vicky, and then my second hour I'll be on my own, and then my third hour I'll be with Orla. So we do 3 hours of rowing, and then 3 hours resting, eating, etc. Are we sweeping or sculling? I have absolutely no idea what that is. I'm pretty sure it's some form of rowing technique. We are pulling. That's all I can tell you on that one.
Hey Gabriella, thank you for your question. And first of all, what are all them cool badges on your blazer? What is my why and what will it mean to us to complete this role? For me, I think my why was the fact that my life has always been pretty easy, and when I get an opportunity like this, I've no reason to say no, and that kind of motivates me to kind of do things that I can, and even though they're outside my comfort zone, I will enjoy the challenge, and I do know what I'm capable of doing. Another massive reason of why I'm doing this is because the impact that it's going to have in women in sport going forward. To be part of something like this for 3 female ocean rowers, taking on a challenge like this, and it's going to be documented, and our data and stats is going to be taken off it and put into a research paper, which will be used for people well after my generation, and it will be there for young females to look up to in the future, and that's immense. And I think that kind of ties in with what it means to us as a group. We all have that mentality, and we all want to go and inspire people, especially females, and especially females in sport. Hey Larry and Molly, thank you for your questions. I'll take the first question, who inspires me the most? As I've grown up, I've been inspired by loads and loads of different people, from when I was a young kid playing football to when I moved out here and I met a couple of friends here. But I think probably the staple in terms of what inspires me to do things and to do better would have to be my 2 little nieces, to kind of show them that you can kind of do whatever you want if you put your mind to it, and you know, just focus on something, go after it, and there's absolutely nothing that you can't do. The second question, which is where do we shower on the boat? We have got a solar paneled like shower system that would basically take the water and it puts it through the system and it makes it nice and clean for us, but also we kind of are in the biggest bath in the world. Hey Emma, thank you for your question. So all of the food that we will be eating on the boat is like just add water type of food. We will have some snack bars, like protein bars, and then obviously we'll have some additional snacks like nuts and peanut butter and things like that that can keep over a long period of time. All the food that we have will already be on the boat, and it will be stored in little storage holes that are along each side of the boat. So we'll just dip our hand in and take a lucky dip and see what we get for our food that day.
And the next question is, how will I transition back into society after spending so long with just the 3 of us in a bubble? Wow, I don't know. I mean, like, I won't know that until I get to that point, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of adjustment, and I think even just stepping off the boat after 60 days of not really using our legs to walk is going to be pretty tough, let alone adjusting in lots of other ways to being around other people and yeah, kind of being out of that bubble. So it's going to be really tough, but it's going to be also so exciting to see our friends and our family hopefully waiting for us in Hawaii, and yeah, coming home to tell all the detail of the story of our adventure. And the last question I've got is, what sea life are we going to come across? Well, so we're hoping to see whales, maybe dolphins, hopefully not too many sharks, although that is possible. And apparently there will be plenty of flying fish. And I think they tend to jump out of the sea and hit you in the face when you least expect it in the dark. So Not so much looking forward to that. People keep asking us, are we going to fish while we're there? But we are not planning to do that. We're not taking any fishing equipment. So, yeah, hopefully the sea life we can admire from a distance and, yeah, take lots of photos. So thank you, Alison, Chloe, Lynn and Simone. Wicked questions again. And that concludes all the questions that I was assigned to answer. Thank you again, all of you, for taking the time to really think about what we're doing and to ask such wicked questions. See you soon.